here we have 3 or 4 paragraphs in a media outlet talking about Tucker Carlson, who is irrelevant, who has no pull with the president, who has no pull with the White House, who, once the American people know really who he is and where he stands, will despise him, as more and more Americans do. The fact that this guy's a podcast, because he was a disgruntled former employee, couldn't hold a job, the fact that he is a podcast that was funded by supporters of Qatar and Saudi Arabia and so forth and so on, unlike mine, which has just started and it's not funded by anybody but me. The fact of the matter is that this guy who trashes we the people, the American people, the fact that he does that apparently is very appealing to John Karl and ABC News and the rest of the media, because the fact of the matter is this guy has no pull. He's been holding on to Donald Trump's suit jacket, his coattails, whether it's at the UFC, whether it's the Republican National Convention, whether it's going to the White House, desperate to be viewed as an influencer. He's not an influencer. He's a propagandist in the form of Father Coughlin in the 1930s and 40s. He is a turncoat in the form of Benedict Arnold during the Revolutionary War. He's so crazy ass that Qatar supports our country in the middle of this military campaign where Qatarlson is giving aid and comfort to the enemy. In this case, the Iranian regime. The people of Iran don't want it. The people of the United States don't want it. The people in the region don't want it. The Europeans don't want it. Apparently, ABC News and the media, the Marxists and the Islamists, the Democrat Party, and Tucker Carlson and his ilk, this little cabal, they all stand together against the rest of the world. Carlson's stance fits a long-running argument he has made against new Middle East wars and the costs that come with it. Look how they give this guy credibility. The guy's a nut job. He's unhinged. He's got demons he talks about. He's chasing UFOs. What a moron. And he doesn't even know how to put his pants on in the morning. Karl, in explaining why he sought Carlson out, portrayed the Iran strikes as a major pivot for a president who entered politics promising to end what he called forever wars and who had attacked the Iraq War. This is not the Iraq War. It's not a forever war by us. It's a forever war by the Islamic Nazi regime in Iran. Half a century, we've had forever appeasement, forever pacifism. And now we have a president who says, no more nukes. You're not getting nukes. ICBMs, which you've tested, they can actually go 7,000 miles now, can hit the United States. You're getting backing by communist China, backing by North Korea and Russia. No. I see what's going on. We're not going to put up with it. And for ABC News and John Karl, the fig leaf they use for contacting Qatarlson isn't, well, he's a weirdo. He's lost influence. He's an embarrassment. There's nothing left with this guy. He's out there on his own with a handful of other miscreants and malcontents and reprobate. No. I asked him because he's the true MAGA, you see. He's the guy that's really trying to hold on to the MAGA principle. No forever wars, no intervention. Trump said peace through strength. Of course he said no forever wars. Who the hell's in favor of a forever war? Can you think of a single person? He opposed what took place in Iraq. He opposed what took place in Afghanistan. And he's not doing Iraq or Afghanistan. We don't have 500,000 troops going like we did in Afghanistan or 300,000-400,000 troops in Iraq. This is a completely different war model, a completely different strategy. And they act like it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. So why is John Karl doing this? ABC News doing it? To undermine the commander-in-chief in our military. That's why. Along with the Democrats in Congress. That's why. Along with the likes of Mondami or the Islamists in Dearborn, Michigan. That's why. Because they're a fusion of anti-Americans. And why go to Tucker Carlson? You know they despise the guy like most of the rest of America thinks he's a nut. Why do they go to him? Because he's a useful idiot. Tucker Carlson is a useful idiot for the democratic socialist movement, for the Marxist movement, for the Islamist movement. He is a useful idiot. He has no clout in Washington, no clout at the White House. He doesn't even have clout right now with Qatar, which is siding with our president and our military against the Islamist Nazi regime in Tehran. So what's happening? John Karl and ABC News and the rest of the media are trying to breathe life into this cadaver, into Qatarlson. They're trying to breathe life in it because they need him to pretend that he represents you and me, when he doesn't. The split is sharper because Trump's public case for the operation has been expansive, not narrow. You see how they're trying to create pressure on Trump not to win, to lose. And if we were to lose, that'd be the end of the Trump presidency. It would undermine our military. It would destroy Republican chances in the midterms. This is very diabolical. John Karl, ABC News and the media, and the number one grifter in America, Tucker Carlson. Trump also pointed back to last June's Operation Midnight Hammer, saying it obliterated 3 nuclear facilities, and that the U.S. had warned Iran not to rebuild. In the same messaging, he described objectives that included degrading Tehran's missile program and its network of proxy forces. Okay. So some of the propaganda left has been, I thought he obliterated their nuclear arms. What's going on? They're reconstructing them. It's really not that complicated for the propagandists, for the agitprop types out there. It's really quite straightforward. The reason the regime has to be obliterated, because in the end, it's the only way to stop this. Have you ever seen this kind of un-Americanism? Un-Americanism at a time of war like this? Have you ever seen it? I think it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Our media is so vile. And they do speak with one voice, pretty much. The Marxists and the Islamists are the enemy within. But so too is the woke Reich, R-E-I-C-H, these neo-fascists, who love Putin, who love dictators, hate democracies like Israel, who are dripping with anti-Christianity, who are dripping with anti-Semitism, and in the end, as I've said many, many times, dripping with anti-Americanism. It's all playing out totally as predicted. Beyond crude, the shock hit markets, already on edge. So here we have a report that's written by somebody who is as close to illiterate as it comes. We got sentences that are combining subject matters that end in one place, begin in another, that are not even coherent because they're so salivating at the mouth. They're sharpening their eye teeth. We got to get all this in and get all of it out. We only have 700 words. And to promote this disgusting evil, to use his words, lunatic, Tucker Carlson, is appalling. It's not surprising. It's appalling. Did you see the Washington Post, the New York Times? Did you see what were effectively eulogies for Khomeini in their obituary sector? Eulogies. As my wife pointed out, by the time the Washington Post was done, you thought they were talking about Santa Claus. His white beard and, and his demeanor. Santa Claus. And the New York Times was no better. Remember, the New York Times covered up the Holocaust. Books and books and books have been written about this. So we have these real sleazeballs, these evil corporate media organizations conspiring with, or better yet, colluding with, the likes of a Tucker Carlson and all the entrail human debris he brings with him. Like this guy Bannon, who's confessed to committing fraud against Mr. and Mrs. America, raising money for a wall. Where's the wall that Bannon built? There is none. It was for the House of Bannon. Or Marjorie Taylor Greene, a complete reprobate and chameleon who loves her newfound popularity with the corrupt left, The View, any media outlet. Really, she'll go on Sonar. She'll go on anything if she can get attention. And then, of course, the likes of some comedian named Dave Smith, who really is worse than what you would scrape off the bottom of your shoe. And there's Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, oh, so smart and so forth and so on. Megyn Kelly, I don't know what she's doing, but more and more to me, she's looking like Nancy Pelosi. No offense. No offense. She's called the Grandma Groiper online, you know. The Grandma Groiper. This is the crowd, and they're worse. You got a former UFC guy who's a confessed Nazi. You've got other people. You got this little puke, I call him little Ada Fuentes, believes in pure Americanism. Really, Fuentes? You do? Fuentes. Last time I checked, that's not exactly pure Americanism from his perspective. These people are nuts. Folks, if you enjoyed this clip and you want to watch the entire episode, I'm telling you, you're going to love it. You can go to YouTube and subscribe, or go to Rumble and follow. And by the way, tell your friends and family too. I'll see you then.